I don't know if you saw Alan's little promo on Facebook. Tonight is all about hips. So as always, work with your body, do what feels right. This is all about honouring your body, not injuring it. So go with what feels right for your body tonight. So let's get started. We'll start off lying down. So just finding a nice comfortable position on your mat with your legs out straight, or if you prefer to bend your knees, do. And let's just begin to come into the moment. Just giving ourselves permission to let everything slow down. Putting aside everything that's going on in your life and in the world. Put it outside the door. And for the next hour, we are just going to spend time connecting our mind with our body through our breath. And let's just start by moving inwards. Breathing in through our nose, into our belly, and out through our nose. And as tonight is all about hips, let's just put our hands on our hip bones to start with. And then let's think about breathing into our hips and pelvic area. Just noticing how our hips feel. Does it feel even all the way around? Is one side a little different to the other? Do we feel level on the mat? And let's think about directing our breath into our hips as we focus all of our attention in this area. And let's just move our hands down to the small of our back. So hopefully you can get your hands in under the small of your back comfortably. Now we're all shaped differently, so for some of you, maybe your hands don't go all the way through. For others, maybe you have a big arch there. But there should be a little bit of a distinction between your seat bones, if you like, the back of your hips and the small of your back. So let's just breathe into this area. And taking the hands out from under you, bringing them down by your side. Let's just really start to turn inward with our breath. Really tuning into the sound of our breath. Just placing the tip of your tongue up on the roof of your mouth, just behind your teeth. taking 2 more breaths here. And then let's bend those knees, bringing the feet onto the floor and rolling over onto our side. And always it's best to come up to sitting in this way, bending those knees, rolling over onto your side to come up is the best way for you to move from lying down to sitting up. If you have a block or a book or anything that's a little bit elevated, that will be great. You can sit on that. And I'm going to sit with our legs crossed, sitting up tall, equal weight in both seat bones. Thinking about having your shoulders over your hips to start with. Breathing into this position. And let's just begin to walk forward here with our hands. So as far forward as you can get. So if this is where you're comfortable, that's fine. Stay there. If you can come down a little bit lower, that's fine. Do that. You just work with your own body in what is right for you. We all have hips that operate differently. And we're going to take 3 more breaths here. And walking it all the way back up again. And from here, if you can still keep that block underneath you and bend your knees so they go either side of the block so that you can sit down onto it. If you don't have a block, that's absolutely fine. You can do this on the floor, or if you can't get down that far, it doesn't really matter where you are. If you're here or if you're here, that might be a little sore on the quad, so maybe come up onto your knees if you don't have something to sit on. And from here, just putting your hands onto your hips, let's just begin to feel the movement of the hips. So let's think about opening out the chest and allowing that pelvis to go backwards a little bit. Noticing how the whole thing tilts all together at the same time. And then let's bring it to the other direction. So we're curling our tailbone under us, so like we do in cat-cow, and noticing how again it tilts in the other direction. And tilting it so that if you like, the top end comes forward, and tilting it so it comes under you. So that's your range of motion of your pelvis, and everybody's got a different range of motion, but that is the range of motion that you have. You want to try and find the neutral position. So really it should be just sitting in the middle. And if you look at anybody's back, at a skeleton, you've got that kind of S shape that comes down and dips in at the small of the back and then comes out at the pelvis. And that's correct, and how we should be aligned as much as possible for most of the poses. There are some poses that straighten that out, but a lot of the poses keep that little gentle curve in the small of your back. Okay, that's enough of a lesson on how your pelvis tilts. From here, let's just put our legs out straight, and if you want you can remove the block. I'll do a few shout outs as Alan holds them up here, and my eyesight hopefully will work. Nuala, hi, how are you? And Natalie and Val, great to have you. Maria, Nullig, and Sharon, and Sarah Jane, all the way from Devon, and Stephen McGrath, and Fanula,
And I'm not sure if Jean is here, but more than likely she is. If she's not here now, she'll be here later. So hi everybody, thank you so much for joining me. It's lovely to have you all here. So we are gonna sit now with our right leg out straight in front of us. And with our left leg, we're putting it across and we're putting one knee on top of the other. So the knee is directly on top of, your left knee is directly on top of your right knee. And your left foot is just coming straight across. And from here again, thinking about keeping both seat bones on the ground, sitting up tall, shoulders over the hips. And then let's just begin to walk those hands forward as we come into a gentle forward fold here. So you'll begin to feel this along the calf and the hamstring of that outstretched leg. Good, let's take 3 breaths here. Thinking about your chest coming down towards your leg rather than your head. Yeah, and 1 more breath. And making your way all the way back up. Let's just take that to the other side. So your left leg coming out straight, your right leg crossing over, right knee over left knee directly on top of it. Sitting up tall to start with. And then beginning to walk out. And Tina has joined us. Hi Tina. Lovely to have you along. Good, keeping that. Thinking about bringing the chest down towards the leg. Good, 1 more breath. And making your way back up again. Good. And I'm just going to turn around so you can see what I'm doing. We're going to keep half seated, hands, fingers pointing towards your hips. And we're going to take that left foot and put it across the right leg. That's it. And flexing the foot of the left leg. Let's take 4 breaths here. Think about breathing into any areas of tightness or tension. And again, moving that over to the other side. Let's just take that right leg up, put it over the left leg, and thinking about pushing that right knee away, keeping the foot flexed. And remembering as you exhale to engage the core by lifting the pelvic floor, bringing that belly button in and up. And allowing that foot to come to the floor. Let's just lie back down again. And lifting that left leg up. We're going to do the same thing again, but this time as our shoulders are on the floor. So your left leg resting on your right, keeping that toe of your left leg flexed, pushing away from your body with your knee, thinking about breathing into it. One more breath here. And again, bringing that foot down. Let's take that over to the other side. So right leg goes up, flexing the foot, thinking about pushing that right knee away from your body.
breath. And while we're on this side, we're gonna, and we did this last week, I think, we're gonna wrap, if we can double wrap the right leg over the left leg. And we're gonna roll over onto the left side, bringing both arms out. And if you can, turning your gaze to the right. So you might find this a very strong pull on that right shoulder, on the right armpit. And if you do, that's okay. You can keep this arm in close if it's too tight a stretch for you, too big a stretch. Taking 2 more breaths here. And unraveling the legs. Let's just move it over to the other side. So left leg over right. And allowing it to fall to the left. No, to the right. Turning the gaze to the left. If you find it difficult to do that double cross, the more you bend your right knee, the easier it is to get your left leg wrapped around. And 1 more breath here. And unraveling, coming back to lie down, bringing the hands down by your side. Let's just raise those legs up and just begin to cycle them slowly. And you can keep them up here. If you'd like to start to bring your core into it, you can begin to cycle with your legs a little bit lower to the floor. And coming to rest. Just allowing the legs to come out all the way and bring the arms all the way behind you so you've got a full body stretch from the fingers right through to the toes. And 1 more breath here. And bringing those arms down by your sides, bending those knees. Let's roll over onto our side to come up to sitting. And opening the legs out, not too wide, just a little bit wide. And we're going to kind of think about like we're churning butter. I think that's the easiest way to think of it. So we are just bringing our upper body in a circle all the way around. And notice how you move from seat bone to seat bone as you do this. Just paying attention to those hips, to the pelvis, and to the movement you're creating with this movement. And let's just take that in the opposite direction. So your pelvis is having to do a full circle. And coming to stillness, we're going to bend those knees and just come over onto our feet. I'm going to get a little seat here on our heels so that we're really quite straight from our shoulders to our hips.
and bring the hands into prayer here. Good, one more breath here. And we're going to bring our hands down and make our way all the way up. Reaching those arms up tall so their palms are touching. Then open the arms out straight and let's just come forward to a nice straight spine. So keeping that gaze on the mat in front of you so that your neck is in line with the rest of your spine. Arms out nice and straight. Good, we're going to take 3 more breaths here. Keeping those hips nice and level. And final breath, bending those knees to come all the way up. Bringing the palms together again. And allowing the hands to come down and come onto the hips. We're just going to circle those hips. Again, you can really begin to feel the movement that you have in your pelvis as you draw big circles with your hips. And let's take that in the opposite direction. And coming to stillness. We're going to bring those toes together and the heels just a little bit apart as we sit down. I'll give you a sideways view as we sit down into our chair. Pushing that pelvis back. And let's take the right hand and put it in front of us, and take the left hand and wrap it underneath. Thinking about lifting the elbows away from the chest and the hands away from the forehead. Good, taking 3 more breaths here. And unraveling the arms, let's just bring them up like goddesses. Opening that chest. Good, taking 3 more breaths here. Keeping the focus on the breath, breathing into any areas of tightness or tension. Good, and let's bring that left hand into the center and wrap that right hand underneath it. Lifting the elbows away from the chest, palms away from the forehead. And I'm going to take 3 breaths here. And unraveling once again, opening the arms out into your goddess. Are your legs giving out to you? 2 more breaths. And let's make it all the way up to standing. And as we're standing here, you can bring the feet hip distance apart, thinking about keeping equal weight in both feet, spread all around your feet, so the 4 corners of your feet taking equal weight. Lifting the knees to engage the quads, engaging that core. Open the hands out so the palms are facing frontward. So the chest is nice and open. Remembering as we inhale to find that space and fill up our bodies with space. Taking 2 more breaths here. And allowing the hands to come to your side. Good. We're going to just take it to the front. Putting your hands onto your hips, onto the your front hip bones, with your feet hip distance apart. We're just going to explore our hips a little bit here. So from here, let's just step that right leg back. But we want to keep our hips square. So you may feel that your left hip has pushed a little bit forward and your right hip has pushed a little bit back. So let's try and just pull that right hip forward so that both hips are in a straight line with each other. So they're square. Good. And if you move down, you can see, you might be able to feel where your leg joins your pelvis, which is your real hip. And just notice what that feels like. It's all in a straight line. Good. And from here now, this is warrior, well, almost warrior 1. It's warrior 1 leg. So let's just raise the arms up now for a full warrior 1. Looking straight in front of you to start with. Tune into your lower back. And now raise your gaze up to the ceiling and notice how that has just brought a little back bend in. Just that little movement of turning your head from looking in front to looking above has an effect the whole way down your spine. And looking in front. Once again, let's bring those hands down by your sides. Keeping your hands on your hips, we're going to step this right leg back so it's in line, so that the left heel and right heel are in line with each other. Turning that right foot in slightly. Now putting your hands on your hips, you'll notice that they're open. Sorry, let me face you. So now your hips are nice and open in warrior 2. And let's open the arms out. It's really hard when you're looking yourself, trying to keep your arms level. And turning your gaze to that left, to the left hand. Good. And from here, just tune into your shoulder blades there for a minute. Notice how they feel. And now let's turn the palms upwards. And notice how your shoulder blades almost plug into your back. Your chest opens up a little bit. So let's try and keep those shoulder blades like that. Keep that chest open and just turn the palms to face the floor again. I have Alan here telling me when I drop a hand. I go like this. And bringing the hands down by your side. Stepping that right leg up to meet the left. And we're going to take that over to the other side. So now your left. So first you start with your hands, with your feet parallel with each other. And we're going to step that left leg back in a straight line and straighten up those hips. Remembering as you exhale to lift the pelvic floor. Bring the belly button in and up to engage the core. Keeping that gaze at the front, keeping those hips nice and straight, just tuning into your hips and how level they are. And when you have them nice and level, just raise the arms up, keeping that gaze in front of you. And then raising the gaze up to bring in a little back bend. Keeping equal weight in both feet. So your body, your torso is in the center. And bringing those hands down. I'm just going to switch it over to the other side so you can see me. We're going to line up the two heels. So your right leg is in front. Your left foot is turned slightly inwards and both heels are in a straight line with each other so that your hips are nice and open. And raising those arms up, turning the gaze to look out over that right hand. Remembering to engage that core as you exhale, keeping the shoulders soft. Let's just turn those palms upwards again on this side to notice how that chest opens, how the shoulders plug in, and then turn it palms downwards. Taking 2 more breaths here. Welcome, Liz. Good to have you along. And allowing the hands to come down by your sides. Turning to face the long side of the mat. We're going to turn both feet outwards and sit down into this. So your knees are going to want to fall in here. I'm going to try and keep those knees out. Keep the body nice and tall. And open the arms out. Good. Let's take 5 breaths here. Watching those knees. Keeping equal weight on both feet and engaging that core as you exhale. Two more breaths, really good. Breathing into any area of tightness or tension. And bringing the legs up. Good, just walk them in together and come to the top of the mat, where we're going to raise our arms up really tall, finding that space. And come into a forward fold, bending your knees as much as you need to. We're just making our way straight down onto the floor. And from here, we're going to sit down onto our heels if you can. If you can bring your hands onto the floor with your fingers pointing towards your toes, do, and just lift your hips up. So if you find that really hard on your knees or on your quads, you can actually do it from up here and just take a gentle back bend. So that's whatever way works for you. Some people find this quite hard on the knees. Let's take 2 more breaths here. And allowing your body to come upright, we're going to come into our puppy dog pose. So coming up onto all fours. Let's bring our hands, our elbows down to the ground, and then allow our arms to stretch all the way forward and bring our forehead onto the ground.
Really finding length in the spine here, pushing out through that pelvis. So really thinking about pushing your tailbone towards the back wall and stretching your fingers out towards the front. So you've got a really nice long back. And we're going to stay here for 4 more breaths. And slowly coming up to make your way down onto the floor with your forearms on the floor and your chest up. Good. Should be a nice, soft, comfortable pose, this. Two more breaths. And making our way up to all fours. And from here, remembering having those legs about hip distance apart, feet straight out in front of you, wrists under shoulders, fingers open nice and wide, and we'll do some cat-cows again to really get that pelvis moving. So remembering in the cow, you're tilting the pelvis, dropping the belly and opening the chest, lifting the gaze. So your whole spine is going like this. And then we're going to round from the tailbone all the way through to the crown of the head. And let's do it again, but really being aware of the pelvis and how that's moving as we transition from cow through to cat. Back in neutral spine. We're going to take our right knee and bring it up to our right wrist, bringing that right foot across and walking that left leg back. We're going to stay up here to start with. So thinking about keeping your chest nice and bright. And we'll take 6 breaths here. With that left leg out nice and long. Again, remembering on that exhale to lift the pelvic floor. Bring the belly button in and up. Two more breaths. Directing your breath into anywhere that feels tight here. Let's walk it down, coming all the way down with your forehead down to meet the floor. And enjoying this pose. It's a great pose for sciatica. Can really help to ease it. Breathing into any area that needs a bit of attention. 2 more breaths here. And making your way back up again onto all fours. Let's just bring in another couple of cat-cows. And meeting back in neutral spine, bringing that left knee up to the left ankle, walking that left foot across and walking that right leg back, starting in a more upright position. Good. Two more breaths. And then making your way down to the earth. As we bring our forehead onto the ground. Just feel yourself melting into the earth. As we make our way back up onto all fours, we're going to open those knees out nice and wide, bring those feet together, pushing the hips back and putting one fist on top of the other to rest here. Or if you prefer, you can bring your forehead all the way down onto the floor, whatever is comfortable for you. Two more breaths here. And making your way back up to sit with your knees bent, bringing your hands forward. You can stay like this. Or if you'd like something a little bit more challenging, you can balance on your seat bones, lifting the legs up off the floor, the feet up off the floor. And this becomes more challenging the straighter you make your legs. Two more breaths here. Good, and allowing the feet to come to the floor, just bend forward and hook them. And coming up straight, allowing those feet to come out straight, bringing your hands down by your side so your shoulders are over your hips once again. We're sitting up nice and tall with that equal weight in both seat bones. Good, two more breaths here, keeping those feet flexed. And we're going to bend this right foot, we're going to bend this right knee. Put the, left, I'm really getting mixed up. Bend the left knee and
Put the foot over the other side of the right leg. And we're going to take our right hand, right elbow, and put it onto our left knee, just to bring in a little twist. Thinking about turning with your chest rather than your head. And we'll take 3 more breaths here. As you inhale, remembering finding that length, and as you exhale, going a little bit deeper. Trying to keep quite upright, so you might want to be back here, but try and keep upright if you can. Good, 1 more breath. And unraveling, let's just take that to the other side. So bending that right knee, putting the right foot on the floor, left elbow onto the right knee. And coming up tall. Keeping that nice twist. And coming back to straightness, and from here you can bend your knees a little bit as we come into a forward fold, leading with that chest. Good, reaching the arms forward to wherever they'll reach to. You can begin to straighten those knees if you wish, bringing the chest down close to the thighs, as close as you can get. But remembering all the time leading with the chest rather than the head. Taking 2 more breaths here. And coming up. Let's make our way down onto the floor. Bending those knees, we're going to let those knees fall over to the left, and if you have the space you can straighten out the legs so you're in a nice L shape. Opening out the arms and turning that gaze to the right. And bending the knees as you come through center to take it over to the other side. Back to the center, just hugging those knees into your chest. Taking a little rock here. And allowing those feet to come to the floor. We're going to do a gentle bridge. So just lifting the hips up. And slowly bringing them back down, and again just noticing how your hips and pelvis move as you transition from the floor up to your hip bridge, and make your way back down again. Let's just do 1 more. Coming all the way up and making your way back down onto the floor, opening out the legs nice and straight, turning those palms upwards. And let's just allow that gentle yoga session to integrate into our muscle memory, into our bodies, as our bodies absorb all that work that they've just done.
begin to squeeze our toes together, squeezing them in really tight and tight as they can go. Good, and letting it go. Pushing out through our heels, so we're really pushing our heels away from us, so it's tightening the whole length of our legs. Really push it out and let it go. Tightening those glutes, really clenching it up, for want of a better description. And letting it go. Bringing our shoulder blades back so they're almost touching each other, so your chest is really opening out wide. And letting it go. Making our hands into fists and squeezing them really tight, so we're really bringing tension all the way up our arms. And let it go. Pulling our face into a scowl and holding it in there really, really tight, everything scrunched up together. And let it go. Just letting everything go from your head all the way down through your body to your toes. Just feeling yourself at one with your mat. As you totally let go. Bringing your attention to your breath as you breathe in through your nose, into your belly, and out through your nose in a nice, gentle rhythm that works with your body. I'm just taking time here to be grateful to our bodies, to ourselves, for giving up this time, and to each other for practicing together. And of course, grateful to the health workers, the frontline workers, and thinking about something we have to be grateful for that happened today. Anything at all. Any little thing. I will be back on Monday at 6. Thank you so much for joining me. But right now, let's just connect back to that breath. As we breathe in through our nose, into our belly, and out through our nose. Really turning inward into our center, connecting with our center. Be taken to wherever we'd like to be right now. Good.